Rarely have I felt so moved. Peter's relief was a joy to watch. For 6 years, I trained in a profession that majors in finding things wrong with people. We take in ugly ducklings and merrily pluck away for disorders, dysfunctions, neuroses, psychoses, syndromes, and schemas. Psychology is obsessed with diagnosis. Every day we invent new labels, new diseases, and new courses of treatment for the quote-unquote ugly ducklings. We never see them as swans. The fear that something is wrong with you is your greatest block to joy. In truth, there is no other block. For as long as you judge there is something wrong, bad, lacking, or not good enough about you, your life will reflect this belief. On the face of it, it will look as though others reject you, the world blocks you, fate is unkind, life is against you, and the heavens are punishing you. But in fact, it is you who are condemning yourself and sabotaging all that's good. Hence, everything is a struggle. Successes are hard-fought. Happiness is short-lived. Love always goes wrong, and there is no peace. There is nothing wrong with you. Certainly, your perception can be sick, and your thinking can be off, and you can make poor choices. For instance, you can choose to see flaws in yourself that no one else sees. You can invent a story of how bad you are. You can try to convince the world how unlovable you are. Give these strange ideas all your power if you want, but who you are, your unconditional self, remains whole, worthy, and well. True psychotherapy is a process of changing your mind about yourself. Shift happens whenever you practice unconditional self-acceptance. Shift happens whenever you give yourself a break. Shift happens whenever you choose kindness instead of judgment, forgiveness instead of self-attack, laughter instead of condemnation. Life always gets better when you treat yourself better. Happiness is all about being willing to be innocent again. Remember that old bumper sticker, God doesn't make junk? It's true. The final and only act of healing is to accept there is nothing wrong with you. Try this powerful exercise today. Make a point of looking for the good in everyone you meet. See the light in their eyes, their faces, their smiles, and their presence. Mentally bow to the light in everyone you meet today. Above all, teach no one that there is anything wrong with who they are. As you offer this light to others, so will you strengthen it in yourself.
Wow.
There is nothing wrong with you. What do you think?
I'm okay. It's okay to be me.
Yeah. He makes so many salient points there. We train to make, and we have to, we train to make diagnoses to help people find and ferret out the problems, But how many of the problems are created in the story? Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah.
All of them are created in the story that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
That I'm not okay and I'm not enough. And our self-talk, I mean, we know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally every day tell people that they're okay. They're not broken.
Yeah.
Because they feel broken.
It makes me recall we did one of the book reviews that we did a few weeks ago was Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 Agreements. Be impeccable with your word. And, the point that he was making in there, especially how you talk to yourself. Don't take anything personally.
Well, and that words have power. I think that was one of the big points, that words have power.
Yeah.
And how the words that you talk to yourself in your head and the words you say aloud all matter.
Yeah.
We would never let people talk to us the way we talk to ourselves.
Oh wow, our dukes would be up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it becomes a habit. People don't even realize that they're doing it. It's just part of who they are. And I think so often the biggest, change comes when you can get people to start to pay attention to what they're saying and where they're going.
Yeah.
Are they ruminating and living in the past and reliving shoulda, woulda, coulda? Are they worrying about the future? And what is their internal dialogue? And just paying attention to it.
When we come back, did you know you can have whatever you want?
I can have my cake and eat it too?
Ruben, can she have her cake?
I guess she can have some cake.
Okay, well, let's let her eat it then too. Yeah, you can have whatever you want. We'll talk about that when we come back. Shift happens today on Strategies.
Don't shift on me.
You know, there are a lot of places that you can buy insurance, but there's only one, Jerry Anderson State Farm. Now, Jerry's here to help us manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and manage dreams. Jerry Anderson is at 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City. Auto insurance, home insurance, property, business insurance, life insurance. Call Jerry Anderson, 746-1209, or you can go to jerryanderson.com. I think you'll see doing business with Jerry makes a difference. Jerry's your neighbor. 746-1209, 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City. No matter where you are in life, Jerry Anderson, State Farm, is here to help. 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City, 746-1209, or jerryanderson.com. There's a lot of places to buy insurance, but there's only one, Jerry Anderson State Farm.
If you or someone you love is struggling to pay attention, Learning RX wants you to know there is an alternative.
It is so frustrating. Every night, Joshua has such a hard time reading and doing homework. He just can't pay attention long enough to get anything done.
Low attention span might be caused by weak cognitive skills, the same skills our brain uses to think, learn, pay attention, and perform.
I go to business meetings and realize I just can't pay attention. I feel like I've been hiding my problem for years.
At Learning RX, clients complete intense but fun mental exercises to target and train weak cognitive skills. We've helped over 95,000 students of every age learn easier, think faster, and perform better. Take a cognitive skills assessment and discover the root cause of your struggles with attention.
Learning RX. Call 797-8523 today for Learning RX in Shreveport, Bossier City. 797-8523. There is a unique and very special store. You feel it the moment you walk in the door of Jacob's Well, Suite 150 in the Broadmoor Shopping Center at 3950 Uri Drive in Shreveport. Now, Jacob's Well is packed full of religious items, Catholic books and gifts, including medals, statues, rosaries, crosses, and devotional items. Jacob's Well also has art and is now accepting new Christian art from local artists. Wedding gifts, teachers' gifts, hospital baskets made to order. It's all at Jacob's Well, 3950 Uri Drive in the Broadmoor Shopping Center. Come by and visit Aunt Roseanne. You know, if you're looking for that special medal, St. Francis, St. Christopher, St. Michael the Archangel, you'll find it at Jacob's Well. Plus, they have their own line of holy cards, Bibles, children's Bibles and books, DVDs, CDs, movies. It's all at Jacob's Well, 3950 Uri Drive in the Broadmoor Shopping Center.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. They say it's all right. They say it's all right.
You just can't have your cake and eat it too, Carla.
Well, then why would I want my cake if I can't have it and eat it too?
That's a great point. Welcome back into 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Ruben and I don't understand either. We've been trying to figure it out during the break.
I
We
know.
had our heads together.
I want my cake and then I'm going to throw it away. That was my point. No,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, why
either.
would you do? What Why would somebody even come up with that
It's
saying?
the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
You think
Well,
Mom's listening right now?
I don't know. Hope not.
Get her on the phone.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
Yeah. Well, I love you too, but that was a dumb saying to say to your daughter.
And I am not too big for my britches either.
Yeah, your britches fit fine. I can attest to that. All right, so you can have whatever you want. We're sharing some of the wonderful, powerful ways to transform your life in the little book by Dr. Robert Holden called Shift Happens. This one is entitled You Can Have Whatever You Want. When I was 25 years old, I went to listen to a talk given by an Indian holy man who was touring Europe. I had not heard of this holy man before, but my interest had been strongly piqued by the outrageous title of his talk, which was, You Can Have Whatever You Want. The room was full of jasmine incense, beautiful orchids, Indian music, pictures of Krishna, statues of Ganesh, the god of spiritual wealth, a book stall, a table covered with fine cloths, and over 200 people. I sat down on a small cushion. There were no chairs. The music died down. There was a short silence. The holy man entered. Everyone bowed. The holy man smiled. He then began, It is God's joy to give you everything. Know you can have whatever you want. Be still and know who you are. Good start, I thought. That was, however, the end of the talk. The holy man's assistant then told us we would each receive an individual silent blessing called a darshan. We were also told this is a rare gift. One by one, the audience left their cushions to stand before the holy man. In complete silence, he first smiled and then looked directly into the eyes of the person before him. After 30 seconds or so, he pressed his hand against the person's forehead. The assistant then handed out an Indian sweet, and the silent blessing was complete. Each person was visibly moved. There was a great stillness in the room by the time I went up to receive my darshan. I felt nervous and self-conscious as I approached the holy man, but his big bronze face and big white smile quickly put me at ease. As he looked into my eyes, he said, "Who are you?" I was shocked. He wasn't meant to speak. "I am Robert Holden," I said. He smiled. "No. Who are you?" My breath faltered. I'm a writer," I said. He smiled again. "No. Who are you?" I searched desperately for an answer he might like. I'm a soul," I said. He chuckled to himself and again said, "Who are you?" I had no words. There was nothing to say. I understood. The holy man from India gave me a most precious gift that day. He asked me to look past my labels, my self-image, my learned self, and who I think I am, so as to see the truth of who I really am. In other words, my unconditioned self. With great compassion, he encouraged me to win back all that is infinite, immeasurable, and eternal. Every moment of your life, you are deciding, 1, who you are, 2, what you want, 3, what you can do, 4, what you deserve and don't. In effect, you create a self-image. In other words, an opinion of yourself. Your self-image then creates your reality by underwriting what it deems is possible and not possible. In other words, your self-image contracts how much success you can have, how much happiness is realistic, how much peace of mind is okay, how much love is acceptable, and how much abundance is possible. You choose your self-image, and therefore, you choose your life. Be careful, then, not to make up your mind about yourself and others too quickly. Do not be so quick to condemn yourself, to be conditioned, to wear a label, to pigeonhole your talents, to argue what is not possible, and to decide how life must be. Stay open and alive to new choices and new possibilities. Relax for a moment. Be willing to let go of every I am. In other words, I am a woman, I am a man, I am young, I am old, I am American, I am African, I am a mother, I am a father, I am an accountant, I am an actor, I am not creative, I am not lucky, I am not loved, I am still searching, etc. Relax, let go, peel away, and undo every little I am so as to reveal your true, unconditioned self. And do the same with every I can't. In other words, I can't find love, I can't attract money, I can't get the support, I can't sing, I can't give up smoking, I can't find a job, I can't let go, I can't meditate, I can't dance, I can't read your mind, I can't believe it, I can't change, etc. Let every little I can't fly away like butterflies in the summer sky. In truth, there is no I can't. Put your self-image in the hands of heaven. Let the angels sing to you hymns of divinity. Give God your tiny self-image so that God may show you your true beauty. Be unconditional. Be open to yourself. Be like the child who asked its mother, "Who am I?" And the mother responded, "You are so beautiful, you can be whoever you want."
Wow. He's really poetic in his writing.
He truly is. He truly is. Good stuff, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking who I am.
Yeah, and you know, that begins in a moment we're going to talk about detoxing your ego, but just for a moment let's talk about this, because we begin very early to get and this is another thing that Don Miguel and the Four Agreements, we make agreements about ourselves, and you know, how do I know my name is David? I don't. A couple of people that brought me into the world happened to be called my parents, decided I must be David, and I agreed with them. We all agreed, and so from November the 15th, 1956, till this very day, I'm in agreement that I'm David. But how do I know that?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Because you agree to be David.
I agreed to be David. Yeah, and I'm still agreeing to be David. But how do I know? I mean, maybe I'm Murgatroyd or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah. Thank you, Claude and Weta, for not naming me Murgatroyd.
Yeah, it could be worse.
Could be worse.
It could be worse. I don't know. I mean, I think the whole question of who are you boils down to not who are you. For me, it's who am I, but who do I want to be?
Yeah.
Who do I want to become? Who am I is part of it.
Yeah.
Who do I think I am? What do I think? And then how far apart is that from where I want to be?
Yeah.
And how big or wide or small is that gap? And I think for me, figuring out who I am has a lot to do with where I want to go and who I'm going to be. You get what I'm saying? Because if I don't know where I want to be, who I want to be, do I want to be kind and giving and caring? You know, do I want to be all of those things? And then I can reflect who I am now.
Right.
As sort of a reflection.
Right.
I didn't really say that well, but I think you have to know who you are and you have to know who you want to be.
I'm getting you. I talk to clients about the questions, and I talk about 7 of them. I talk about, and I break these down. I talk about the big questions, and I talk about the map questions, or what I also call the map questions, the magic questions, because you can use them over and over and over. So the big questions, you know, there's 7 questions. I like that number 7.
Okay.
There's something about that number 7. But there's 3 big questions. We all know them because if you're part of a religion, you know, it doesn't matter what the religion is, Christian, Jewish, Islam, Hindu, they all major religions try to answer the big questions. Who am I? What am I doing here? Where am I going? I mean, there's some variation of
Right.
the wording's a bit different depending on the tradition, but we've all grappled with those big questions. And, you know, I think that it's not necessarily the religious, but it touches on the spiritual. How you answer those big questions is in direct proportion to how you're going to live your life in a spiritual sense, you know.
Well, I think for me, if you don't know where you're going or who you want to be, okay, and the kind of person you don't want to be, you won't ever. I mean, you don't get anywhere by accident. I can't plan a trip to California by accident. I've got to know where I want to go. I don't always know how I'm going to get there.
Right.
But I got to know where I'm headed at least, and what do I want my life to look like.
And for me, those are the magic questions or the map questions. What do I want now? When do I want it? I may not want it right this second, but when do I want it? So what do I want? When do I want it? Third question, what, if anything, in my life do I have to change in order to get what I want? And fourth, how will my life look different when I get what I want? Those questions can be used over and over and over to make our maps and keep our maps revised.
Well, because you keep updating. I mean, if you're growing, your map keeps changing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important that all of us keep our maps current. I mean, if all of a sudden you and Ruben and I were dropped down in, let's just say, in this very location that the radio station is right now, and we were given a map of Shreveport, but that map was drawn in 1903. You know,
Where's 49?
Yeah, we may have a little trouble navigating with that map because it's not current. But if we keep our map current, then 20's on there, 49's on there, 31, 32's on there. We can probably get, you know, from point A to point B. Yeah.
Well, what amazes me consistently and constantly is how many people who don't think about what they want or where they want to go or what they want their life to look like. There's so many people out there living in survival mode. And it just doesn't have to be. And I think at the end of the day, that's the most important thing to me, is getting people to realize that, yes, this is the way my life is now, but it doesn't have to be this way. I have more power to change it than I sometimes give myself credit for.
Absolutely. But you may have to do what we're going to talk about when we come back from this break, and that is detox your ego.
Is that a joke? Is that a big head joke?
Not exactly.
Okay.
Shift happens. We'll be back. Where you go for rehab and recovery does make a difference. Let me talk to you about Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center at 1736 Irving Place in Shreveport. Cardiac rehab, stroke rehab, surgical aftercare, burns recovery rehab, neuro re-education of the brain, and wound recovery. Vicki Ott, the executive administrator of Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, says, we love them, we pray for them, and we do our best to get them better. I've been there. I know that what she says is exactly true. Medicare and most major insurance is accepted. There's a nurse practitioner on staff, IV therapy management, respiratory therapist on staff, dialysis management, and free Wi-Fi. All at Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, 1736 Irving Place in Shreveport. www.highlandplacernc.com, 221-1983. Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, caring from the heart.
When your child or grandchild is in trouble, you'll do almost anything to help, won't you? But who do you turn to? Where? Let me tell you about Milestones Counseling Center in Broadmoor, 3772 Yory Drive, and in North Shreveport at 4646 Hillary Huckabee Drive. Milestones is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If your child or loved one is at risk of being placed in detention, psychiatric hospitalization, or taken from home, call 670-3159 now. That's 670-3159 for Milestones Counseling. After assessment with an LPC, Milestone provides a team of professionals, all master's level, to work with your child or loved one in the home, at school, at play. We meet your child where they are. Family can be involved too. Milestones Counseling works to prevent and stop out-of-home placement. It's proven statewide this kind of help reduces out-of-home placement by 85%. Children 5 years and up.
Addiction takes a toll on your body, mind, spirit, and relationships. When you're ready, there is addiction treatment in Shreveport with the highest quality behavioral health and addiction specialists, together with spiritual guidance and holistic experts to help you heal for good. Call 833-CHANGE-1, 833-242-6431. Resilient House, in a beautiful setting, providing a peaceful environment, all about healing. When you're ready, 833-CHANGE-1. Resilient House is Joint Commission approved, meaning it's recognized for providing the highest quality of care in addiction treatment. 833-CHANGE-1. Resilient House, adult treatment for addiction for men and women. Detox, residential, partial, and intensive outpatient. Resilient House. Call 833-CHANGE-1. 833-242-6431. Resilient House. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. PLPC Carla McCormick and marriage and family therapist David McMillan. We're talking about shift happens today. Powerful ways to transform your life. Quoting from a little book that is by Dr. Robert Holden. And I had the privilege of interviewing several years ago Dr. Holden, and just, maybe there's no accidents. This is not a brand new book. He published this book originally back in 2000. I think I interviewed him. The book was repurposed and put out by Jeffers Press in 2006, and that's about the time that I interviewed him.
But none of these ideas, I mean, how he puts them together is unique, but none of these are groundbreaking ideas. I mean, these are just solid principles.
And they're things that we need to be reminded of, right?
Yes.
I love that. Reminded. So I love this one because, you and I are talking about the ego all the time. And Dr. Holden says we need to detox your ego.
Okay, I'm not going to let that hurt my feelings.
The ego is obviously not real. It's never been photographed or x-rayed. No autopsy has ever found an ego. No faxes, emails, or photocopies of an ego exist anywhere. Clearly, the ego is just an idea. That being so, the short version of this chapter reads, "You are not your ego." The slightly longer version of this chapter now follows. The ego is a small idea. Indeed, it is the sum total of all your small ideas about yourself. Your ego sees you as separate, isolated, and cut off from the whole. Your ego is, to quote Austin Powers, your mini-me. It is like a little finger puppet version of the real, immeasurable you. It is a blind spot that fails to see your infinite, unconditional self. The ego is a detour from wholeness to lack. Look out is the ego's prayer. In my book, Happiness Now, I describe the ego as a belief that EGO, everything good is outside. Believe the ego, and you must embark on a search for happiness outside you. Now, you participate in the greatest illusion of all, for the search for happiness is really the denial for happiness. The ego is made of fear. It fears you are alone, in exile from God. It fears you do not have what it takes to be successful and happy. It fears you are unworthy and unlovable. It fears you are not good enough for the good things in life. The ego is self-doubt. It is the mafia of the mind. It cannot see the big picture. Your ego is really a call for love. The ego is a limited perspective of your true, unconditioned self. It is your learned ideas about who you are, as opposed to God's unconditional truth about you. The following poem of mine, What is the Ego?, aims to illustrate the ego's bit part perspective. It reads, "The ego is one small stone on a landscape. It is a temporary ink stain on your face. The ego is your one and only mistake today. It is the dandruff on your collar. The ego is a piece of litter on an acre of land. It is a speck of dust in your palace. The ego is a single coffee granule in Brazil. It is one drop of paint on the artist's easel. The ego is the I in humanity. It is one note in the whole symphony. The ego is one word in your dictionary. It is one electron in electricity. The ego is a bad joke. It is the single calorie in your Diet Coke. The ego is one flower in the whole garden. It is one split pea in your split pea soup. The ego is one light particle in the sky. It is but one star in the whole universe. The ego is one idea destined to die. In truth, it is not you, and it is not I. The ego, being a thought of lack, resists the idea of unconditional joy. It cannot conceive of a free lunch, of no pain, all gain, or of simply surrendering to joy. According to your ego, happiness must always involve a pay policy, a plan, some justification, hard work, and struggle. As such, the ego is all that stands before you, and happiness now, love now, peace now, heaven now, inspiration now, God now. Your ego will always try to sell you something you already have. The ego says you must fill in the form. Your life must look right before you can be happy. Hence, to be happy, you must first get the right job, the right friends, the right partner, the right money, the right clothes, the right figure, the right car, the right toupee, the right postcard. And you must get everything you do right. How exhausting is this? What have you told yourself that you must get right before self-acceptance, before happiness, before you can relax? The ego offers you happiness at the right price. Your unconditioned self wants you to know happiness is a choice. What do you want? Do you want to be right or happy? Shift happens every time you detox your ego. Compassion, kindness, forgiveness, and humor are good detox agents. Humor busts the ego. Anything else is just too serious. To try to control, kill, or heal your ego only serves to make it more real than it is. Remember, your ego has no power other than what you give it. Take a moment now to remind yourself your happiness is like an inner light with no off switch. You are what you seek. There is nothing wrong with you. That which suffers is not you. There is no separation, and the more you love, the more you get what you really want. Love and ego cannot coexist. Love is wholeness. Love detoxifies the ego. Love dissolves what was never there. Isn't that powerful? This guy's good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
He's very poetic.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. The ego, boy, we have to be aware of it before we can do anything about it, don't we?
So when you're first describing the ego to a brand new client, do you describe their ego as what? How do you describe
I
it?
generally talk about it like, I call it the operating system.
Yeah.
And so I generally use the analogy of, suppose Ruben and I want to, we have $10,000. You've given us $10,000, and we can't wait to get
Thanks for that, by the way.
Yeah. We can't wait to get down to the computer store to get the most pristine computer that we can find, right? Because we can buy a nice computer for 10 grand, right?
And have a leftover to take to the boats.
Yeah. And so we get our computer, and then we load it up. I mean, and our computer's going to run, a $10,000 computer's going to run great, right? But then we load it up with every virus, every imaginable bad program that we can find out there. I mean, we just load it down. How do you think our computer's going to run then?
Not very well.
Not very well. But there's nothing really wrong with our computer. We've just loaded the programming on, and it's the same for us. And that's the way I describe the ego.
Well, and so other people may have loaded viruses.
Well, they offer, yeah, sure.
Or bots or all kinds of things get in there.
Well, by the time we're, let's say, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, we are absolutely packed full of other people's programs. Because, and, you know, most moms and dads, you know, well-meaning, download the programs that were downloaded, you know, from their moms and dads and whatever. Like, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too, and you're too damn big for your own britches, right?
Is that a fat joke?
You're too big for your britches because you ate too much of that cake.
There you go, see?
A fat joke.
Yeah.
Y'all heard of my ego.
Shift happens. If we're talking addiction prevention, education, and treatment in Shreveport-Bossier for 60 years, we're talking about CADA. Let's talk about addiction. Let's talk about treatment. Let's talk about getting your life back. The Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, CADA, has been helping individuals and families in Shreveport and Bossier City for 60 years now. CADA provides intensive residential treatment as well as outpatient services too. CADA treats women with children, pregnant women, adolescents, veterans. CADA has helped thousands and thousands of people in North Louisiana from just about every race and ethnic background, every socioeconomic level, across every class line. CADA has helped single mothers, attorneys, teachers, nurses, doctors, construction workers, musicians, you name it. Life is better on the other side of recovery. Call 222-8511 or www.cadanwla.org.
If you or someone you love is struggling to pay attention, Learning RX wants you to know there is an alternative.
It is so frustrating. Every night, Joshua has such a hard time reading and doing homework. He just can't pay attention long enough to get anything done.
Low attention span might be caused by weak cognitive skills, the same skills our brain uses to think, learn, pay attention, and perform.
I go to business meetings and realize I just can't pay attention. I feel like I've been hiding my problem for years.
At Learning RX, clients complete intense but fun mental exercises to target and train weak cognitive skills. We've helped over 95,000 students of every age learn easier, think faster, and perform better. Take a cognitive skills assessment and discover the root cause of your struggles with attention.
Learning RX. Call 797-8523 today for Learning RX in Shreveport, Bossier City. 797-8523. You know, there are a lot of places that you can buy insurance, but there's only one, Jerry Anderson State Farm. Now, Jerry's here to help us manage the risk of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and manage dreams. Jerry Anderson is at 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City. Auto insurance, home insurance, property, business insurance, life insurance. Call Jerry Anderson, 746-1209, or you can go to jerryanderson.com. I think you'll see doing business with Jerry makes a difference. Jerry's your neighbor. 746-1209, 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City. No matter where you are in life, Jerry Anderson, State Farm, is here to help. 4324 Parkway Drive in Bossier City, 746-1209, or jerryanderson.com. There's a lot of places to buy insurance, but there's only one, Jerry Anderson State Farm. Yeah. 1017 FM and 710 KEEL. Welcome back into Strategies. You know, God does not believe in atheists.
He doesn't?
No, I'm going to
Does
try
he
to
believe in Santa?
All right. This is from the little book, Shift Happens, Dr. Robert Holden. Peter was an eminent psychiatrist with his own independent practice who telephoned me out of the blue one day. I've read your book, Happiness Now, and think you may be able to help me, Mr. Holden. Peter's voice was full of emotion when he said, I'm in a hole, a big hole. I've tried everything I know, but I can't think my way out of this. Peter and I talked for an hour. It was clear he was exhausted, confused, and close to burnout. All his life, Peter had worked hard, and now disillusionment with work was hitting him hard. He described his symptoms as feeling empty, nothing to give, massive self-criticism, very tearful, uninspired, feeling stuck. Intuitively, I felt Peter was ready for a breakthrough. I'm down on my knees, Peter said. Hearing these words gave me a really crazy idea. Peter, let's pray, I said. Imagine a psychiatrist and a psychotherapist praying on the telephone. Together, we gave God our life and our work, and we prayed for fresh inspiration, insight, and guidance. It was a precious moment. 2 days later, I received a thank you note from Peter. The P.S. read, God works in mysterious ways. There's a shift taking place in psychology today. Traditionally, the psychology profession has been suspicious of anything it cannot measure, analyze, or define. God, being immeasurable, was kicked out of the laboratory for not being small enough. Psychology then tried to take the place of God without success. Today, a new generation of psychologists is opening to exploring and reintegrating the spiritual in healing. A similar shift is taking place in society, too. Conversations about God are cool again. People are less afraid to explore God in an open, mature, and non-dogmatic way. Spirituality is important to people. Every day, people are staying away from church and going back to God, said Lenny Bruce. This is true. But churches are also changing. A new generation of ministers wants less churchentry and more Christianity, less religiosity and more spirituality, less preaching and more direct experience. I've often thought what a pity it is we made a religion out of God. God is much bigger than religion. God cannot be bottled, labeled, and sold. And yet, religion has peddled some weird and fearful potions, and we bought them too. Thankfully, a shift is happening now. We are fast outgrowing our small gods. We want the immeasurable God again.
I love that so much.
Yeah. And that one's titled, God Does Not Believe in Atheists.
You know, I do feel that shift.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's now about spirituality and my relationship with God more than it has to do with what denomination I am.
Shift happens.
Shift happens.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, folks. We've been presented by CADA, by Jerry Anderson State Farm Insurance, by Learning RX, by Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, by Resilient House, by Jacob's Well Inspirational Books and Gifts. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? What would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Ruben Wright and for PLPC Carla McCormick, I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. See you next time here on Strategies for Living.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.